Right now, Mayor Adams says the city's homeless shelter system is in danger of collapse from the influx of illegal migrants.
So far, more than 44,000 who have arrived since last spring are being housed. The mayor wants to suspend now the city's right to shelter because he's saying the city lacks the resources and capacity to comply. Listen.
New York has done its share. Our shelter system is buckling. We are trying to prevent it from collapsing. It's unfair to our city. It is taking away resources, and New York City should not be handling a national crisis. And the courts will decide.
But city legal aid says suspending the law would be a big mistake, and they're vowing to now fight it.
So joining us to talk it over is legal aid staff attorney Joshua Goldfein. So thanks for being with us, Joshua. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so why do you think that suspending the right to shelter law would be a bad idea?
Well, I don't think any New Yorker wants to see people sleeping on the streets with their children. If you've been to other major cities in the United States, that's what you'll see. People will not stop coming because the mayor has invoked his right to change the way the shelter system operates. People are coming because they have nowhere else to go. And the mayor's right that it's a federal problem and it needs to be solved by federal action. The state also has a role to play. But in the meantime, the city has an obligation that I think New Yorkers believe in to protect people, to keep them from being harmed on the streets or from dying on the streets from exposure to the elements.
So the mayor says the city system could be in danger of collapse and that no one actually ever envisioned that there would be a situation quite like this, right? And that's why he's looking at these options regarding changing of these laws that have existed since the 80s. But for those who are looking at it saying, well, they have a right to shelter, right? So I'm going to go there because of that law. Is that a reason to change it?
I don't think that people are coming here for that reason, but there's no evidence of that.
Yeah.
But it's also true that changing it would not make a difference again. People are here and they need a place to go. You know, the shelter system, every day people come into it and people go out of it. And the mayor's very focused on the people coming in. But even before the migrant crisis, we were pushing the city to focus on moving the people out of the shelter system. And even today, the city council is going to vote on a package of bills that would make it easier for people to move out of the shelter system and into permanent housing, and the mayor is opposing that.
You're talking about the 90-day rule, right? So they have to, according under Giuliani, when he was mayor, he made those who were homeless stay in the shelter system for 90 days. I'm sure Christine Quinn and Wynn want to get rid of that.
That's correct.
And the mayor doesn't want to. Why?
It's not clear. I think that may be why his housing person resigned yesterday. There's a whole set of reforms, including the 90-day rule, that the council will vote on today that would make it a lot easier for people to move out of shelter. If we were focusing on that, there are other measures that we've recommended that the city could take. We have a citywide staffing crisis right now. And so there are offices within the city that are charged with helping people move into apartments that don't have enough staff to do their jobs. If we were staffing those offices, if we were tweaking the rules to make it easier for people to use these programs, they would move out of shelter. That would open up a lot of space, and then we wouldn't be having this discussion about that the system is overflowing. You have to look at both the people going out as well as the people coming in.
So what has been the extent of your conversations with City Hall?
We've had a lot of productive conversations about how to improve the system, and it appears that they're finally starting to make some of those changes to enable people to move out. We've also had a lot of conversations about the way that the system the system for the migrants has been operated, and I think they have made some improvements to accommodate people with disabilities, for instance, to make the migrant shelters safer. But only in the last couple of weeks we've seen them try out a brand new model, and we have a lot of concerns about that.
What is that?
Well, we've seen them packing hundreds of people into gyms. Some of these places don't have showers. They don't have access to any services. And so we're basically warehousing people in unhealthy conditions.
So let's talk about this. If the right to shelter ends and this 90-day suspension does not pass, because if the city council passes, the mayor still has to sign off on it, right? So say he doesn't. Does legal aid have a legal recourse that they can take against some of these things?
Sure. I mean, we're looking at all of the options right now, but the shelter system is governed not just by city rules, but by federal law, by state law. There are obligations that the city has to protect people, and we will certainly make sure that our clients are safe and that the law is enforced.
How much conversations go on between your organization and the migrants themselves?
Sure. We talk to clients every day who are coming in. We talk to advocates who are working with those groups. We are trying to help both individual people who have a particular problem with their own situation, but also address the broader problem of how are people going to be safe, how are they going to have legal status, and how are they going to be able to participate in society and the economy.
But what are they telling you, though? Do they feel like this is not exactly the best situation to be in, not what they expected?
People coming here are fleeing from intense persecution. They've endured unbearable trauma in their home countries and on the journey here. They're just so relieved to be in a place where they hope that they can finally be safe.
Yeah.
And we, unfortunately, the federal government is limiting their ability to work, which is really what they want to do. And that is what is causing all this. The federal government could solve this overnight by letting people work.
Yeah, expediting those work visas. Have there been any legal issues so far between the migrants in the city or migrants in the federal government that you've had to get involved in and take legal action?
We have advocated for many people to ensure that they get what they need. But again, the bigger question, as the mayor has been saying, is that the federal government and the state both need to step up and take responsibility for addressing this problem. It shouldn't all fall on New York City.
Absolutely. Well, Legal Aid Staff Attorney Joshua Goldfein, thank you again.